Yo, what is going on, guys? Hope you guys are having a great and amazing day. Now in today's video, I'm going to be bringing you guys a long awaited video. Now I've been stalling this video a lot. That's because this video did take a lot of time and work to edit, and I personally did get very lazy. Up until now, I had a lot of free time, so I decided to cook this one out for you guys. This is going to be comparing the two best guns in the game currently, and that is going to be the QQ9 and the QXR. Now, although there are mixed opinions with these two weapons, personally I like to think that these are within the top 3 best weapons alongside the Bison. So if you guys do enjoy, if you guys are gonna, make sure to pause the video right now, leave a like, leave a comment, make sure you guys drop that sub, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Alright, so for the longest time, the QXR and QQ9 both have been a very popular selection when it comes to rank or even competitive, alongside the Bison obviously, but the two main popular choices as of right now is QQ9 and QXR. The main reason being the QXR just got the biggest buff ever in COD Mobile, making it the best gun in the game, and the QQ9 is the OG weapon that everyone knows it as, that got a huge buff as well last patch out of nowhere, and everyone saw it as like this amazing weapon. And due to that, and both them being both SMGs that are good for close range and mid range, people are now comparing them, and because of that, I'm here to answer your questions. In this guide, we're going to be going over the ADS time, the strafe speed, the kill time, the damage, and more. So if you guys do enjoy, sit back, relax, and enjoy this, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Alright, you guys, so the first clip we're going to be starting off with is the ADS time for both the QXR and QQ9. Now before we do start, all of these tests have been made with no attachments, just so these results can be fair, since you guys can make class setups based on ADS time or accuracy. So I decided it would be right to remove all attachments to make these fair. So looking at this clip right now, the QXR has a total of 15 frames for it to actually conduct a full-on ADS. This is actually extremely fast, knowing it is also an SMG, which means the majority of the gunfights that the QXR gets in, they will 100% win because of how fast it is. The only thing you need to worry about is shooting straight when it comes to that point. Up next on the board, we do have the QQ9, which surprisingly is faster. Now, this may come to a surprise, but the QQ9 actually has a faster frames per second by only 2 points, which is crazy. Now, it's not that big of a difference, but when it does come to the point, 2 milliseconds do actually make a huge difference when it comes to a close range fight, because that is basically comparing, not really comparing, but it's basically comparing two different guns from an AR to an SMG, and the faster you ADS, the better chance and advantage you have of killing someone, due to your gun shooting faster than theirs do based on your ADS time. Now, judging by those numbers, 2 milliseconds or whatever obviously doesn't make that big a difference, but as I mentioned before, it does in some scenarios. Judging by this information, the QQ9 does take the lead by going up 1-0 to the QXR when it comes to ADS speed, but that is not it. We are going to be going on to the next test, which is going to be the recoil pattern. So as you guys can see in this clip, the QXR recoil control pattern isn't too far from most SMGs in the other sections, such as the Bison, which is actually really the easiest one to control, the MSMC or the QQ9. All it really does have to it is a slight straight line going up top and then slanting a bit to the left side. All you really have to do in this situation to control this really well in longer distances is simply by just pulling down, which is the case for most guns. Now this is probably the easiest one to do. In my opinion, the hardest recoil control pattern they can learn is with the ARs, especially with the BK57. Now, compared to the QXR, the QQ9's recoil control pattern is a bit slightly different than most. Now, the reason for this is the QQ9 actually has more shots that connect directly into the middle before it does change its direction. Now, what I mean by this is in the QXR's clip, you guys can tell that the QXR's recoil control does have more of a kick the longer it's shot, and actually slants to the top left. But in the QQ9's instance, the QQ9 does have more shots in the middle before it does kick up to the top right and not the top left. Now, this doesn't necessarily make the gun better in terms of recoil control, but it does make us more satisfied knowing that the shots are going to be directed more towards the middle before it does have a sort of a kick. Now, judging by both the QQ9 and QXR's recoil control pattern and sprays, you can't really say too much on which one is better. The main reason being is because both of them are exactly the same besides them both being parallel to each other. One of them, which is the QXR, goes from a straight to top left, which is just a bit of a slant, and the QQ9 does go from a straight to top right, which is once again a bit of a slant. Only difference is that there's more shots that connect in the middle, but that is only because of the distance it does spray when it comes to longer ranges. Now when it comes to QXR, the QXR has 29 damage to the head, 27 to the body, and 20 to the legs when it comes to 5 meters total. But when it comes to the 40 meters, the mark is at 19 to the head, 16 to the body, and 14 to the legs, which means the damage drop off for the QXR's overall damage is extremely low, which means I would only recommend limiting yourself to close and mid-range fights, or else the gun is going to get straight up wrecked when it comes to long range against any kind of ARs. The QQ9 on the other hand is slightly different. At 5 meters it has 27 to the head, 25 to the body, and 22 to the legs. And at 40 meters it is 0 to the head. I couldn't find the value for the head, probably due to the weapon's range, 15 to the body, and 13 to the legs, which means the QXR does have a slight edge when it comes to damage by 2 when it comes to 5 meters. So as you guys can see, the QXR is increased in damage compared to QQ9 by 2 points from 5 meters and 40 meters. And the only thing that's better about the QXR is not only the damage increase, but also the fact that it still has damage input when it goes to the head, where QQ9 in this hand does not. Up next for a very next test with these two weapons is going to be the duration it takes for one gun to go from one place to another. Now in this instance we are going to be using the QXR first. It takes a total of 4 seconds to go from the back end of practice mode to the end. I kept doing it back and forth, just in case. Now I couldn't really calculate the exact frames per second, but just keep this in mind. It is a total of 4 seconds back and forth opposite to each wall. Now the QQ9 on the other hand is also a total of 4 seconds. Now I know I said I couldn't find the exact FPS value for both, which is frames per second, but I ended up doing some research, and it seems that the QQ9 when running is 6 frames, and when you're ADSing it is actually 3 frames, and the QXR is actually 8 frames, and the ADS is actually 6 frames, which means that the QQ9 does have a better sprinting speed when it comes to running with the gun with no attachments, alongside with the QXR having no attachments. Now the last and final test we have for you guys is going to be the strafing speed of both the QQ9 and QXR. Now these are very identical, so make sure you guys do listen to this part. So with the QXR, the strafing speed is actually 3.94 per millisecond, which is crazy. I honestly didn't think it was going to be this fast, but knowing it's an SMG, it is realistic to have this value. The QQ9 at this point is actually a total of 3.91 milliseconds for the strafing speed. Now, both these are very identical, so you can't really say too much about both of these guns, but overall, I'm going to be giving you guys my final thoughts on which gun I personally think is going to be better right after I show you guys the specific gunsmith you guys can use for these two weapons. Alright you guys, so here are 2 QXR classes you guys can choose. This first one is going to be a ADS build. This is for people that like being in a lot of close and mid-range battles. This is a very fast ADS build, and it will shred when it comes to close range. As you guys can see, I'm using the monolith suppressor, the MIP light barrel short, the no stock, enhanced bolts, and the OWC laser tactical. Now, although this is a very good gun when it comes to close range, this won't be as easy to control when you do go against longer range opponents, so be aware of that. Now, for the second variation of the QXR build that you can use is going to be the same thing, except you replace the MIP light barrel short from the barrel section and you put on the OWC marksman, which not only gives you higher controlling recoil rates, it also gives you a short damage boost for the longer range fights. Alright you guys, so now that we're done with the QXR, these are the 2 class setups you guys can use for the QQ9. As you guys can see, you guys can use the monolith suppressor, the MIP tactical barrel, the no stock, OWC laser tactical, and the 45 round ecstatic mag. And that is the first one. Now this one right here is extremely good when it comes to close range, maybe mid-range, but not so good when it comes to long range, unless you guys can control the recoil really well. In this instant, most of you guys probably can, but if you guys are going for a more longer range approach, here is the one you can use. Alright you guys, so this is the second one you guys can use if you guys are one of the people that do love longer opponents. So if you guys want, this is the one to use. I know it is a bit weird, but trust me, this is going to be really good when it comes to longer ranged opponents. This is with the monolith suppressor, the no stock, always laser tactical, and the Merc foregrip, which is the key part of this weapon, plus the 45 round extended mag. Now although this won't be the fastest ADS build in the game, it will still be very good when it comes to mid and longer range battles, so if you guys do enjoy this one. So now that everything is finalized and done, my personal take on which gun I think is better based on the QQ9 or the QXR is going to be the QXR. Now the main reason for this is because of multiple things. Not only is this current meta in SMG meta, which is very surprising, the close range and mid-range encounters that we are going to be getting are very constant, and the QXR in general is just going to outgun any other weapon when it comes to that instance. Main reason being because the close range input and mid-range input damage is very strong in the QXR compared to the QQ9. Not only that, but also the fire rate is very good with the QXR. Anyways guys, I hope you guys did enjoy this, I guess, informational video. Let me know down in the comments if you guys want me to make more kinds of these videos. But now I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. If you guys do, make guys pause the video right now, leave a like, leave a comment, make sure you guys drop that sub once again. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.